Regardless of your navigation skills, you're going to need a park map when you visit one of these amusement and theme parks that have made it onto the top 10 most confusing park layouts in the world. Number 10. Hershey Park. Nestled in the hills of southern Pennsylvania, Hershey Park has been creating memories for its guests since 1906. But getting to and from each attraction is a little more challenging at the sweetest park in the world, and a major factor in that is the elevation change throughout the park. Also, since a lot of the park's attractions interact with each other, it's sometimes difficult to pinpoint the entrance to some rides. Hershey Park, as you can see here, also offers a very interesting layout that isn't a full circle, which adds to the difficulty exploring the park. Number 9. America's favorite park, and that is Six Flags America. If you look here, the park's layout, not including Hurricane Harbor, is in the shape of a backwards letter C. So in order for guests to find their way from Roar to Batwing, there's a very solid chance that they will get lost. That is, without a park map. Six Flags America also offers 2 kid areas, and the newest one, Whistle Stop Park, is actually really nice, but in my opinion, it's oddly placed in the center of the park as you see in this aerial image. And even though Wild One is one of the better coasters at Six Flags America, it does run through the center of the park and divides it into 2 different halves. Nonetheless, Six Flags America's layout isn't that bad. Now, all that park needs is that new coaster. If you think a roller coaster running along the center of the park is confusing enough, then you must check out this next park, and that would be number 8, Kentucky Kingdom. You knew it had to be on the list, and by far, it's one of the most confusing parks, at least here in North America. Kentucky Kingdom basically has 2 separate halves, divided by a road that goes in between both of them. And the only way to get to and from each side is to cross over the pedestrian bridge. While bizarre, Kentucky Kingdom does offer 2 world-class roller coasters, Lightning Run and Storm Chaser. To come up with this list of parks, I always think back to Roller Coaster Tycoon and the notification that always seemed to pop up. Your park won the most confusing layout award. And I think if that was a real award, that some of these parks would have definitely won it. Number 7. Wallaby Holland. While this beautiful park might offer some of the best roller coasters in all of Europe, its layout is awfully confusing. But the good news is, they are rumored to be building a new RMC single rail coaster, I believe, in this area highlighted here, which will then help make this park be a little bit less confusing. Though, one thing that I really admire about Wallaby Holland is their pathways and midways aren't as wide and spread out like most parks, really adding a lot of character to the park as you're walking around, even if it does make it a tad bit harder to navigate. This top 10 isn't showcasing any negatives towards these parks. It just means that you better grab a park map while visiting so you can get most out of your day, because some of the parks on this top 10 are some of the best in the world. Number 6. Knoebels. This is one of my favorite parks that I've had the luxury of visiting, and let me tell you, I visit this place every year or 2 and I still get turned around each time. The whole park is situated around and under trees, and there really isn't a such thing as a Knoebels master plan. It's almost like they just added rides and buildings where they could, and nothing really flows together or has a layout like your typical park. And because of this, I love Knoebels even more. For example, Twister, which is the park's tallest wooden coaster, is located on the far outskirts away from the rest of the park, and it's kinda hard to find. But that's the beautiful thing about the wonderful Knoebels. Another great thing about this place is that there's no main entrance, and it's free to walk around, which makes this place even more wild. While creating this top 10, there were a few parks out there that did not make the cut, but I still wanted to share them with you anyways, as I still think they offer some of the most confusing layouts around. Six Flags Great Adventure. This park, in my opinion, is just too large. Nagashima Spyland. The world's longest roller coaster runs right through the middle of the park. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Just take a look at this cluster of an entrance and the midways running around it and all the roller coasters wrapping around this area. Canada's Marineland. Just a bizarre park all around. Lots of walking, very little rides. And finally, Energylandia. It's like a modern day Knoebels, just build, but at least now they're creating new themed lands that really help. Number 5, Oakwood Theme Park. In my opinion, this park just really seems kinda odd in every aspect, but it's a good thing. And what I mean by that is there's lots of open fields and grass with nothing to really see and do. While the park does offer some roller coasters and rides, it doesn't help that the main entrance is a long walk away from the actual park, or you can take the train at the main entrance that's gonna drop you off at the main park. Oakwood is quirky, and I love it. It's just a tad confusing is all. Now, if only Oakwood builds a new coaster soon. Yeah, that probably will not happen. The next park has my OCD really going through the roof here. Number 4, Wiener Prater. Like, what the heck is going on here? This layout is literally all over the place. Everywhere you look, you're gonna find a roller coaster or ride or good tasting food, which to be honest is never a bad thing. You will also find a fair share of dead ends here, and the placement for the rides is all scattered. But one positive with this park and how you can easily navigate it is all you have to do is look up in the sky for the 400-foot tall star flyer for a needed reference point. Or better yet, just go ride it and scope out the views below to help you study the layout of this wonderful park. Number 3, Fantasia Land. Don't let the size of one of the most beautiful parks in the world fool you, because Fantasia Land is not very large at all, but this park knows exactly how to pack in a ton of awesome world-class attractions mixed in with amazing roller coasters that offer some of the best theming in the world and a few hotels. There are even some parts of the park that have multiple levels to really help maximize on the real estate. One amazing thing about this place is how they immerse you into the themed lands just perfectly, and it will leave you just speechless. All I can say is just don't forget your park map. Number 2, Silver Dollar City. While some of you might be shocked that Dollywood is not on this list, I did have it at number 16, barely missing out on my top 5 honorable mentions. I find that Silver Dollar City is on a whole other confusing scale than Dollywood. This park, which is spread out over the tops of hills, is just special. One thing that I love about visiting Silver Dollar City is that you really don't know what to expect as you travel through each turn walking throughout the park. Coaster-wise, each one is located along the outskirts of the park, which really does help, but you will no doubt definitely need a park map unless you're visiting Silver Dollar City with someone who knows their way around with their eyes closed. And now for the world's most confusing theme park layout, and that belongs to, of course, Alton Towers. So what makes Alton Towers so confusing? Well, it's going to take you forever to walk from one side of the park to the next. And then you have all the trees around you, castles interacting with the midways, and of course the terrain. This beautiful park is built in between and on tops of hills. It just adds a whole nother level of confusion. Now, the main reason why Alton Towers is so confusing is because unlike most parks where you're able to visually pinpoint taller attractions to help you with your navigation skills, you're not going to find that at Alton Towers, because this park is very unique due to the fact that their attractions cannot go too far above the tree lines. So you can't see any roller coasters until you're practically standing right under it. 10 awesome parks that you definitely need to visit. This is Theme Park Predictions, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And out of these 10 most confusing parks, which ones have you visited before? Be sure to let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.